Love you. Have a good day. Morning, chicks. How's it going, little baby chickens? These guys got so big so quick. Yeah, at this point, these chicks are about 4 weeks old, just a little shy of 4 weeks old. There you go. They're starting to really look like little chickens. In terms of breed, a couple of you guys have asked what these are, and they're basically Vermont farm mutt chickens. I think the rooster is an Americana, and their moms are a variety of things, Rhode Island Reds, Olive Eggers. So we should just have a good little diverse mix of chickens with hopefully some hybrid vigor. Isn't that right, little guy? All right, back you go. Whoop, it's all good, see? So today's video is all about the most sustainable form of pastured poultry. And here's a hint for you. It's not going to be these guys.
Release the mini quacken!
So you see a lot of talk out in the media and in various internet forums and kind of all over the place about the question of what's the most sustainable form of meat.
Our meaty diet is literally eating up the planet.
And a lot of people even arguing that any sort of animal-based food is not good for the environment.
You can't call yourself an environmentalist if you still eat meat.
And that we all should just eat beans or something. We absolutely need to acknowledge that factory-based animal farming is absolutely horrible for the environment. All the CAFOs out there and all of the conventional animal husbandry systems, they offer some horrible things for the environment. The amount of methane that's put out, the amount of concentrated manure that it turns into kind of a vile waste product, the trucking and shipping and transportation of food to feed the animals, the trucking and shipping and transportation of getting the animals to the people, the impact that growing commodity-based crops like corn or soy have on the land itself. And so while I completely acknowledge those facts, and I acknowledge the fact that some meat consumption is an absolute ecological disaster for our planet, I also think that that perspective of any animal protein consumption is bad for the environment is actually wrong as well. Any sort of plant-based foods that you guys are consuming are generally produced using animal outputs like manure as fertilizer. So having a healthy relationship with consuming animals as part of your diet, I think is actually an important part of the overall ecological puzzle. Where we as humans tend to go astray usually comes down to number one, consuming too much animal protein, and number two, consuming the wrong types of animal protein raised in the wrong ways.
Release the quacken!
Let's go check on our little baby ducklings. Where'd they go? I don't see them. Pablo, you better not be checking on our little baby ducklings. Oh, ducklings! I can't find those little baby ducklings. I don't know where they went. I heard them in there at first, but now they've gone quiet. I think they're hiding? I hope they're hiding. I guess they'll turn up soon enough. Pablo, you better not be up to no good. So I said that this video is going to be about the most sustainable form of pastured poultry, and it's been something I've been thinking a lot about lately. You know, when you hear people write about pastured poultry, you know, chickens or turkeys or whatever raised out in pasture, you always hear this myth of them going around, all they're doing is eating grass and eating bugs, and isn't it great? You know, these things are so much better than factory farmed birds. And I think that that statement is actually very true. Pasture-raised chickens and pasture-raised turkeys and pasture-raised ducks are significantly more sustainable and significantly healthier birds, and they lead significantly better lives than their counterparts that are raised in warehouses and factory feeding operations. But if we're gonna be completely honest about pasture-raised chickens and turkeys and ducks, we've also got to acknowledge this. They require a tremendous amount of grain. Big bags of stuff like this. As a farmer, I feel like I actually make the best and most responsible choice here. I go for stuff that is certified organic, non-GMO, no medications, no preservatives. It's manufactured just really one town away from us, so it's locally produced. But even still, it's not the most sustainable option. I have to drive to go buy the feed and pick up the feed. And the bags of feed produce lots of garbage like this. And on top of it all, even though most of the feed is manufactured right in the next town over, a lot of that stuff is trucked in from the Midwest and other places. And so even though we're raising our birds the right way and letting them free range and letting them be out on pasture, it's not all that sustainable. You've got to recognize that there is an ecological toll that approach takes. And look, I absolutely admit, it's better than conventional ag. There's no question about it. And it doesn't mean that we have to be environmentally perfect, because Lord knows I'm not. But like with most things in life, it's a matter of good, better, best. I mean, you shouldn't castigate yourself because you can't do the perfect thing from an environmental or any perspective, really. You should strive to do the best you can. So don't interpret this video as me trying to trash organic pastured poultry farmers. But I will say, I think there is a better way to go about it. And I think that there's a better bird for us all to be out there raising. While pasture-raised birds like ducks and chickens and turkeys are good, or maybe even better depending on how you raise them, the geese, I think, are the best. Geese, unlike turkeys and unlike ducks and unlike chickens, are grazers. They are primarily herbivores. When they're out in the wild, they're mostly getting their diet from grasses and weeds. Yeah, they might munch on the occasional insect or amphibian, but it's really not their preferred diet. Their favorite thing to eat is like a big mouthful of this stuff. They love mixed grasses. And for you guys who've been watching our YouTube channel, I know you're probably sick of hearing me talk about how all the geese do is eat grass. But it's really important, and it's an important thing to think about. And we're starting to design a system here at Goldshaw Farm where I'm able to rotate the geese on a regular basis. So if you look at the geese over the course of the last 8 weeks, they actually started right around here 8 weeks ago. Then they went up there, then they went over there, then they went over there, then they moved down there, then they moved down there, then they moved down here. You can see the difference between when I just had the geese on pasture about a week beforehand, or when you see me go back 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. You can just see such a difference in the quality of the pasture. It's just remarkable, the impact that they have, because again, geese are grazers, so they're out there on the pasture basically stomping it down and eating it all up, and then pooping it all back out and spreading it all over the pasture, and applying a healthy dose of nitrogen. And that's what's making the grass grow so well. And so it becomes this very virtuous process that happens between the geese and the pasture. And so back to that idea of what's the most environmentally sustainable form of poultry, that give and take with the land that the geese have is just so much better than me having to truck on grain for turkeys or ducks or chickens. Let's go check on the baby ducklings. I want to make sure they're okay. I'm a little bit worried. They should be fine, but they were probably just hiding. Hey everybody. Hello. Where are the babies? Oh, shoot. You guys see this? Oh no. They were hiding, but now they're stuck in that thing. Wait, you're just gonna leave them there? Aw, come on, Ma. I guess this one's up to me. Let's see if these things will do the trick.
Easy, baby ducklings. I'm here to help you.
And right about here is where my microphone got disconnected from the camera. And so unfortunately, the entire shoot for the rest of yesterday afternoon was completely ruined. And that's a bummer, guys, because it was kind of a fun adventure. I was able to rescue the little baby ducklings out of the wall. Even though the mom duck was attacking me and tried to attack me several times, I was able to get them free. I also patched up the wall and put in a sheet of hardware cloth to make sure that the ducklings couldn't slip through again in the future and get stuck. By the way, you also missed an adorable scene of me telling all the ducks to go to bed last night, and even the little baby ducks made their way in. Apparently those baby ducks are even faster than the puddle ducks. I did want to say the reason I'm making this video though is because I think it's so important for people to start to think about things like the most sustainable animals you can be using on your farm or homestead. You know, I have a dream that someday you'll look at farms and homesteads all across the country and people will be using geese as a form of meat. I think the environmental impact that that could have would be just significant and great, and I'd love to encourage it. And so that's why I'm taking the time to show you guys how I raise my geese on pasture in hopes that I might inspire some of you. If you guys want to learn more about how we raise our geese, I'm going to leave a playlist up here that starts off when they were goslings, and you can see the whole brooding process and go from there. Or if you're really curious about seeing how we hatched out those little baby ducklings naturally, check this one out. I'll see you guys in that next video.